Hello everybody and welcome to a Pioneer video here on the channel. Today we are going to be battling with Mono Blue, Tempo, Spirits. It's a very cool little deck that I found on MTG Goldfish, and so we're going to be trying it out. Before I get to it though, you may be wondering why I'm playing Pioneer instead of Limited. If you're a staple of the channel, if you've seen a lot of my stuff, and that's because the Pro Tour is coming back. The regional championship that qualifies you for the Pro Tour is going to be Pioneer, and so I'm going to be practicing Pioneer in the coming months to get ready and try and qualify for that big tournament, because that would be awesome. To facilitate this, I've got a new sponsor, Card Hoarder, or maybe I'm just part of their network. Either way, Card Hoarder is now associated with the stream. They're a rental service for cards, so if you're trying to get into Constructed, but you don't want to have to buy all of the cards on Magic Online, check out Card Hoarder, because they're helping me play these decks, and it's a cool service. But yeah, this is the deck. It is mono blue, and you may notice all of these lands are snow covered. That is because we have Ascendant Spirit as a 1-drop, so you can slowly level this up over time into a kind of threat. The other key card at 1-drop is Curious Obsession, a card that can help you take over the game, and you just put this on a threat, and then you can kind of deal with whatever your opponent throws at you. There's a couple other 1-drops, Mausoleum Wanderer, which is a spirit and has rewards for playing other spirits, and we do have quite a few other spirits in the deck. There's Spectral Sailor, another spirit that can kind of be used alongside counter magic. You can flash this in and catch your opponent by surprise. At 2 mana, we have Counterspell, so Lofty Denial, great with all of our flyers. Rattle Chains, a way to give our spirits hexproof. Shacklegeist, a way to interact with our opponents a little bit, while also being a spirit. And then Supreme Phantom to buff all our spirits. And then Geistlight Snare at 3 mana, but it can cost 1 less if we have a spirit and 1 more less if we have an enchantment. So if we have like our Curious Obsession on our spirit, it's going to cost 1 mana, which is huge. Brazen Borrower just rounds things out, gives us a little bit of interaction. It's not a spirit, but it's a pretty good card. Next is in the sideboard, we have an Otawara. I haven't practiced this deck a ton, and by a ton, I mean this is my first time playing the deck. I've played decks like this in the past, though. This was like a very similar deck to one that I played on Arena a ton, back when it was standard legal. But Otawara, I assume it comes in on the play if you need an extra land drop, and just to interact with certain decks a little bit more. Dive Down, great for protection. Witness Protection, good for dealing with like really big threats that can outrace you on the ground. Ether Gust against red and green decks, and then Mystical Dispute against blue decks. So we are going to be diving into a Pioneer League here. Pioneer, let's go. I'm not trying to play a preliminary tournament here. Pioneer League. There we go. Oh, huge. Join with Mono Blue Spirits. One thing I love about making videos on Magic Online is that the window resizes every single time I open any tab ever. And so that's always just an absolute joy. So while we wait for our opponent... Wait, why doesn't it let me? Oh my gosh, why Pioneer? There we go, play league match, there we go. Perfect. So, yeah. I will be hovering over the cards a lot because I know that many people don't really know what all the cards do. And so we're going to be talking through them all. Also, Faceless Haven is a land in this deck, and another payoff for being snow. You just get to have access to a creature land that can potentially do good stuff in the late game. It can also be a spirit, so it can get buffed by things like Supreme Phantom because it is all creature types. And yeah, pretty nice card. It's also nice that it has Vigilance because you can sometimes do something like turn it into a creature, attack, and then you tap it for Geistlight Snare or something like that. And overall, yeah, I would say that in this sort of deck, you're relatively just... Your best hand is going to be 1-drop Flyer, Curious Obsession, Protection. And so that's kind of the dream. The rough matchups are going to be the decks that can put a lot of pressure on us early, maybe try to force us into blocking in a bad situation. And just overall, our creatures aren't that big. So if our opponent is hitting us for like 3 or 4 a turn and we're hitting them for like 1 or 2, it's not going to end well. The best matchups are probably the ones that have big creatures or big spells that they're trying to resolve, so that I can just kind of counter them easily. Okay, so we have won the die roll. Yes, you definitely want to play first. And this hand is a mulligan. We do have 2 spells, and we have a Faceless Haven, but we don't have a Curious Obsession, and we just don't have the density of spells that we would like. And this hand is a lot better already. The best matchups are the ones where you're on the play. We're going to keep this hand. I would say that we will probably want to get rid of Shacklegeist. We want to keep our lands. I think having Spectral Sailor is nice because we can flash it in and hold up our Lofty Denial at the same time, and also it's a mana sink. So I'm going to get rid of the Shacklegeist. I'm still going to be learning the mulligan strategies here, but starting off with a Mausoleum Wanderer is a great place to be. And then a Supreme Phantom on turn 2 to hit them for 3 mana, for 3 damage, and then start holding up our counter magic after that point. So, off to a good start here. Let's just show chat, say good luck, and be polite. It is what Reed Duke would do, and so that's good enough for me. Also, welcome to the stream. I am a pseudonym. Secluded Courtyard. They're probably going to name, I don't know what the tribe is. Human, yeah. Human was my best guess. Oh, okay. That's actually a really good draw. So they don't actually have... This is interesting. I don't know the deck list all that well, but I assume that they can't do anything at least this turn. And you just want to get this rolling as soon as you can. And then we'll play the Sorcery Speed Spirit here, post-combat. So if they can kill our Spirit, it's a little bit bad for us. We still have other stuff, though. And it looks like they can only play humans here, so hopefully that works out for us. I don't know what human interaction they could have. They might have a Thalia or something. Okay, Thalia's Lieutenant. That's really, really easy for us. So the fact that they aren't going to be able to have interaction is really nice. So here we're going to just attack with both, and then we'll just hopefully draw a land. But we'll be happy holding up Lofty Denial or Brazen Borrower, or just playing a Spectral Sailor, or just activating our Ascendant Spirit. You pretty much just want to take over with Curious Obsession and never let the shields down. Brutal Cathar, yeah, exactly. Those sorts of cards. I figure they're going to be mostly 3 mana, because those are generally where they put, like, Reflection Mage, things like that. They're going to, yeah. Yeah, this is probably Reflection Mage. Reflection Mage is just a card that I assume this deck plays. Yeah, Reflector Mage. So this, now we just counter their guy. And Curious Obsession is just turning into a damage machine, a, like, huge amount of power here. It can be activated at instant speed, Vixity. It can. Okay. Perfect. Rattle Chains is a great draw. Giving our Spirit Hexproof. One thing that some players can do, if they have like a removal spell that can kill anything, is sometimes they'll just kill the Curious Obsession instead of the creature that it's on. This is interesting. They do have mana up for Collected Company. And so this may just be an opportunity for me to kind of accept the fact that they're probably going to be able to deal with this Curious Obsession. I think the best play is going to be just to sacrifice this to counter their Collected Company, because I just assume that that's the card that they have up for 4 mana. And that can just facilitate me... yeah, and being able to cast all spirits though they had flash is really good. So I think this is a good time to get Rattle Chains into play. And they're going to go for their Collected Company. I'm going to counter it. I lose my Curious Obsession, but it's already done a lot of work here. It's got me a full hand. Okay. I'm surprised. I think they were... yeah, here they go. Yes, sir. We are going to counter that. Okay. We're going to play the Wanderer here. Oh, I could have cast that at instant speed. My bad. My B. They can trade now. Yeah. I'm actually okay with that trade, but I should have still waited. I forgot I can cast all my spirits at instant speed now. Reflector Mage. Sure. Sure. We run 22 lands. There's one. We're going to just do this. Hit them for 5. And then if they do have another collected company, the way this works is it punishes them for this being its power. So it's going to have 2 power because Supreme Phantom's going to buff it. And so I can counter their collected company even if they have an extra land here. And I feel like that's really good. Okay, Thalia, sure. So this feels like a pretty solid matchup for us potentially when we're on the play and can get out ahead of them. They don't have a ton of cheap interaction. Their interaction costs 3. They have Thalia. Okay, so they have Thalia, Lieutenant, Collect Company, Reflector Mage. So I feel like I know a little bit about the deck. They're not going to be a deck where Dive Down is really necessary. They're not going to be a deck where Witness Protection is good because I turned their guy into a human, I think. No, it's, yeah, Citizen, so it's not a human. Mystical Dispute, not going to be particularly great. Ether Gust, not going to be particularly great. I do think Otawara is going to be nice because they have Thalia, which is going to make stuff cost a little bit more. Dive Down is not the best because they'll still get their Reflector Mage into play, so we'd rather just counter the Reflector Mage. I guess Mystical Dispute could be good for countering Reflector Mages. What seems bad in the matchup? I think I want to bring in Otawara. Bouncing their stuff doesn't seem particularly great. But it could be good at bouncing like a big, like once their humans get like stacked up. We have these expensive kind of counter spells. I think Geistlight Snare is worth keeping in, but maybe we shave a Lofty Denial. I do like bringing in the Otawara, I think. Witness Protection, probably not. Dive Down, probably not. We could bring in 1 Mystical Dispute, but it's probably just worse than Lofty Denial. I don't know enough about their deck yet. I'm sure, like, once I get more practice, I'll know a little bit more, but yeah. I don't feel like Mystical Dispute's really good. It's going to be just like a slightly worse Lofty Denial. So I'm just going to cut that and add the Otawara because that'll help me cast my spells through a Thalia. And we're going to run it like this. Not a lot of changes. I feel like the matchup's pretty solid, especially when we're on the play. So this game's going to be maybe a little bit rough, but feels good. Also, it feels like putting a Curious Obsession onto a Mausoleum Wanderer is less ideal, just because if you have the option, just because you want to be able to sacrifice it to counter a collected company. So we'll be keeping that in mind. Let's see if our opponent ever replied to our good luck comment. They did not. Okay, so on the draw, we have a Mausoleum Wanderer followed by a potential counterspell, but if they have a Thalia, that doesn't work. We have a Faceless Haven. I think we can do better. Yep, any hand that has Curious Obsession is pretty much instantly great compared to hands that do not have it. We are going to get rid of the Brazen Borrower. And then we could potentially just go Ascended Spirit, double Curious Obsession on it. Unless they have Champion of the Parish. Ooh, Thraben Inspector. Thraben. Big time Thraben. We could put the double Curious Obsession on this still. They'll chump block it, and then we can give it flying. That seems a little bit risky. You really want to just get the card back immediately when you cast Curious Obsession. Oh. This is a human. I never knew that. I wonder why they cast this on turn 2 instead of turn 1. They must have just drawn it. You love when I roll my R's. Thank you, thank you. Okay. So we can trade a Curious Obsession for an Experiment 1, which feels reasonable. But then we don't spend our turn doing anything else. And then the really only mana efficient play is to double load up our Curious Obsession. And at that point, we waste a mana if we don't want to do that. I don't really want to double Curious Obsession this turn because I don't have any protection. And I get really wrecked by... I'm going to do this. And this is actually fine for me. They're probably going to Reflector Mage this, I would guess. But I did kill their Experiment 1. Yes, Reflector Mage, yes. I think we're all kind of okay with where this has been going. Beautiful. Drawing a land is great there. Play this. Oh, I can't play the Spirit again. Right. Don't worry. I'm catching on. Okay. I'm just gonna play this. If they have another Reflector Mage, they have another Reflector Mage. Sure. I'm actually in good shape here. They only have one card in hand. If it's a Coco, it's a little bit rough for me. But it looks like it's not. Unless they're sacking the clue. Oh, Snowlands. They're punishing me. I respect it. But they're out of cards, which is nice. And now I have Geistlight Snare up in case they do draw Collected Company. They're going to sack their clue. Makes sense. Gonna bounce this one. This way my land comes into play untapped. I can go Curious Obsession. Give it flying. Oh no, just make it a 2/3. Yeah, I guess I'll just give it +1/+1 from this and then attack them. And they'll chump probably. They don't chump. That's surprising. Then I guess I'll hold up Rattle Chains and Geistlight Snare. I don't have a creature with fly. Oh no, I have a Spirit and an enchantment. That's all I need. Make this cost 1. And they scoop it up. Nice little win there. Feels like a good matchup for us because they don't have like a lot of interaction. They're relatively slow, it feels like. Could also just been that they drew badly. I'm not going to try and draw too many conclusions, but yeah. So it may seem like I don't know what's going on in Pioneer. I do know some of the decks, some of the cards, and I have played... The reason I wanted to start with this deck is because I've played the Curious Obsession strategy a lot. This is one of my most played decks ever, pretty much, when it was in Standard. Back in like Dominaria Standard, so a long time ago, but still. This type of strategy kind of fits into my wheelhouse, and so that's why I wanted to start with this one. I understand a lot of the cards, a lot of the interactions, and so it's kind of a good place to learn the format, starting with something you know, so you can kind of figure out what's going on with the rest of the cards. Okay, so this hand is a mulligan. We only have one land. Don't have a 1-drop, don't have Curious Obsession. Sometimes you can keep 1-landers if you have Curious Obsession and a land. Yeah, this hand is really bad too. We're honestly probably better going off to 5. And we'll have to keep this. Ditch the Lofty Denial and the Shacklegeist. Kadoke. Hands with Curious Obsession are just so much better than the hands without it that it's generally worth risking it for the biscuit in that case. They're going 5 color. Sure. Hopefully Geistlight Snare can like nab their big spell here. Put some pressure on them because their mana confluence is also helping hurt their life total. Briefcase, sure. Oh, Winota. Good call, Olo. This is a tough spot. If I draw one more land, then I'll be fine. If I draw a spell, most of my spells will be pretty fine. I think keeping up my snare is good. I'm not in a huge rush. If I draw a land at some point, I'll be good. Okay. Making them sack both of these is pretty nice. Yep. I could have activated the Faceless Haven and attacked them, but this feels good because the 1/3 can block their Cathar. And I get to counter their Winota here. Hopefully they don't have a second Winota. So Moonrage Brute. Now a little bit of a problem. Okay, they have another Winota. Of course they do. No, they have a Seeker's Chariot. Okay. We might be able to get them in the air before they can finish it off. Nice draw. They'll probably crew up the Chariot and block our Faceless Haven. I think I just attack for 2, because then they'll go to 5, and then I have lethal still. And this way I can tap something. As long as my Phantom doesn't die. Two, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14. So I can tap their Seeker's Chariot if they crew it. Sure. This is an interesting matchup for sure. And we get the win. Perfect. We mulliganed to 5 in that game, and we didn't have a Curious Obsession. So pretty huge. Okay, Witness Protection is an option. Ether Gust is definitely built for this matchup. So it looks like their main interaction is going to be the Cathar. So that means that until turn 3, we're fine. Dive down, really not what we want to do. We want to get countering the thing. Loses all abilities. This doesn't seem great because they can still use it with Winota. And if Winota resolves, we're in trouble. Having another bounce spell could be good for bouncing Winota after they resolve it. So I think I want to bring in these 4 cards. What's bad against them? What is bad? Cards that make me tap out are bad. And that makes me think Shacklegeist is going to be weak in this matchup. It can't block their stuff. I can't hold it up at instant speed. It doesn't help me kill them faster like Supreme Phantom does. So I think I'm just going to do a 4-for-4 swap like this. We'll obviously learn more as time goes on, but that's going to be my initial read on the situation, my initial take, as it were. And this is a great hand. We have everything we need to succeed. Okay, and they do not have a 1-drop elf, which is really nice. Wow, that is pretty much the best draw possible. Because that means that I can play my Curious Obsession and then my counter for 1. Huge. I wonder if they side in like Lightning Bolt or something. I doubt it though. Just getting this in and then Geistlight Snare is really, really good for me now. Because I do want to start drawing lands so I can cast multiple spells in a turn or things like that. Counter that. Drawing a land is huge once again. Hold up Brazen Borrower and Rattle Chains and Ether Gust. Yep, that's fine with me. Petty Theft one of those tokens. Hopefully I draw another land here. Need to save my Ether Gust for Winota. Another great draw. Getting another land is huge. I can now cast Rattle Chains and a Petty Theft on their token. Or Ether Gust and a thing like that. And now we're going to save our Petty Theft because we know they have that. And so what we want to do is now bounce the Winota before they can use it, before the combat trigger happens. And another Ether Gust is just what the doctor ordered. I wonder if this is just a good matchup because of this exact reason. They're going to keep putting it on top, and we're just going to keep tempoing them out. Supreme Phantom's going to be a good card to flash in here. Yes! Getting the match win. Huge. I mean, what more can you ask for from the deck? I feel like the Otawara in the sideboard is a weird choice. That's just all I'm going to say. I feel like it'd be a fine main deckable card. And I guess I'm just going to still have to figure things out in terms of like matchups where I'd like to have Shacklegeist number 4 over just a 23rd land. I feel like maybe it's rough in the main deck because you just want to have all your lands be snow lands, and you just mostly want this as like an uncounterable bounce spell or something. Maybe that's why it's here in the sideboard. But I feel like having extra land has been nice. Wow, I didn't remember MTG Bot just telling me all this stuff. Last seen deck, all that stuff. That's funny. I would like to play first. MTG Bot never used to tell me that stuff. I guess it's because I mostly played limited with MTG Bot. But yeah, we don't really know what they're going to be playing. And we have only one land, so we're going to mulligan this. They're playing Gigantha. Okay. This is a great hand. We're going to keep this and put back a Wanderer. Or do I want to put back a Brazen Borrower? I'm going to put back a Brazen Borrower. And no, I'm going to put back the Wanderer. Because I'll be holding up Lofty Denial a lot of this time. Though this next turn I'm going to be playing Curious Obsession, so maybe I would have played Curious Obsession Mausoleum Wanderer, and that would have been better. And then I have a protection built in. Punished. Ah, punished, punished, punished. Maybe they're playing Blue-Red Phoenix, but they also have Gigantha. Maybe Gigantha's just fine in Blue-Red Phoenix, though. We'll counter that. You never know if they need a land or something. And they did need a land, so we punished them. Huge. Play the Phantom, because presumably they won't be able to lightning bolt it or something. Maybe. Oh, the Strangle. And they found a land, so that's unfortunate. Sure. Ledger Shredder, okay. Hopefully I draw a land here. Tough. Little bit unfortunate that we haven't hit a land. Probably gonna Brazen Borrower this, but I wanted to keep up my Rattle Chains for protection in case they like flip over like a... Yep. Giving them an extra Connive here, which is just the way it goes. So they put the kill spell into their hand. Sure. Sure. Giving him another connive. Ouch. That's it. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Yikes. Treasure Cruise, pretty cool. Their deck looks fun. Oh, this is tough. Looks like they got this one. They're kind of taking over. They drew 3 extra cards. Another Ledger Shredder, yikes. Ah, Ledger Shredder taking over. What a sweet card. I think it's like a bunch of ticks on Magic Online right now. Because it's still relatively low supply. And everyone wants it for their deck. Hmm. I think I'm just losing this game super badly. I think I know what the mystical disputes are for now. Three, 5, 7. Another Treasure Cruise. What did they just cast? Hmm. Oh no! I'm giving them a loot. Feels bad. Wow, their deck is cool. Reckless Rage really plays well with that card. Yep, I think we're dead. If they hold back their Ledger Shredder, we just lose. Oh, and they might just kill us. Nice. Okay. We're just learning more about their deck. They've got, like, Play with Fire, Reckless Rages. It's going to be hard to resolve a one spell, and we're just going to scoop it up here. Yeah, we can't deal with that. Okay. So, we now know a lot about their deck. We want Dive Down for their Reckless Rages and stuff. We want Mystical Disputes. So that's 7 cards. I don't think we want Witness Protection for their Ledger Treaders because they'll still have counters on them, presumably. Brazen Borrower does not feel very good to me. Bouncing their Ledger Shredder seems nice, but I think our real strategy is keeping it off the board. And then I like all my 1-drops, I think. Especially with my ones that can let me hold up mana. Shacklegeist, again, not really looking to be where I want. But maybe it's a card that I need? I don't know. How do I deal with it if they get a Ledger Shredder into play? That's the question. Probably do need Brazen Borrowers then. I don't think this is a racing situation, so I don't think I need the Phantoms. Yeah, I'm just going to cut the Supreme Phantoms, actually. I think I'd rather have a Shacklegeist. We'll try it. I'm still figuring things out, but this seems okay. Being able to clear the way from their flyers seems okay. Okay, and we have a mulligan, I think. We can just do better. This hand is really good if we draw like a land or something. I think it's better than mulliganing. So what we will do is, okay, yep, hope they do this. And then hope that we draw either a dive down or, like, we need to draw a land dive down pretty much. There's the land. I assume they have a kill spell. Yep. They have a spirit to buff the Wanderer pre-combat so we can hit them for more. And then we might just buff the spirit, honestly. That could be a strategy. Like hold up Rattle Chains and then just start buffing this guy. Making a 4/4 seems pretty sizable. If they try to counter back, we have our Mausoleum Wanderer. Eh. This is tough. No! Oh, actually. No! That's so sad. Yeah, this is a tough matchup. It looks like they have a lot of removal. Eh. Opt is a good card for them to have here. This is the sort of deck where they're like a little bit fast, and it's like a challenge to win these sometimes. I'm not going to use the Faceless Haven on here. I'm just going to hope they don't have a spell in hand. If it's a land, it's still rough, though. I think I'm dead no matter what they... Unless it's a spell I can counter with this Mystical Dispute. And then I go to 1, and then I have some out. Yes, if it's experimental thingy whatever, I can... Oh my gosh. Now I actually have to draw Curious Obsession for the win. If they attack both, which they might not. If I draw Curious Obsession, I can win. No, it was close. Good game, good game. Whew. That is a tough matchup. That one feels hard. Because they're fast. They got great removal for my cards. Like, all of their removal spells line up pretty well because they deal like 1 to 3 damage. And they have, a 4 damage removal spell. So, tough matchup. I like that deck, though. Maybe I'll try that one out at some point. Maybe. Give me a man after midnight. Yeah. I don't know if I think I sideboarded pretty well. Maybe I'm supposed to bring in Ether Gusts. But I feel like bringing in Mystical Disputes is already bringing in a lot of counter magic. I would like to play first, and we will keep this hand. It's slow, but it has some good stuff. We can get our Shackle guys down, and then Rattle Chains for protection, plus the Obsession. Oh, no. So they don't have a Shock, or they probably would have played it there. Ledger Shredder, sure. I want to avoid casting 2 spells in a turn. Lofty Denial is nice, though. And I can use this to tap 2 things to tap their Ledger Shredder so I can hit them again. Looks like the same matchup. I think I have to counter this. I just hope they don't have Reckless Thing or Strangle, which they probably do. Oh, they don't. Nice. Sometimes you gotta risk it for the biscuit, and sometimes it pays off. Play the Shackle guys. I don't want to play 2 spells into turn because I don't want Ledger Shredder to grow or to let them connive. Yes, sir. They get that. Yep. Lightning Axe. Okay, so this is a slightly different version that's playing Arclight Phoenix. I don't think the last one was. I'm actually just going to hit him for a billion here. And make things a little bit harder on them by making like shocks a little bit worse. So maybe this is a better matchup than just a pure blue-red aggro version. I imagine there's pros and cons to both versions in that, okay, there's 2 Arclight Phoenixes now. I imagine that the other version is a little bit less good against control decks that have like sweepers and stuff. Nice, that's a sweet card. I would like to play this. Then I will fire up this. And since I have all my priorities set, I can go to combat. I could have gone to combat, attacked with everything, or attacked with a couple things, flashed in this, tapped their Ledger Shredder with my new things, or attacked, used Fatal Save to tap their Ledger Shredder. Had lethal. Hi, Clown. It's going well, Timber. We are 2-1, and we are currently up a game against Arclight Phoenix. Hello, Clown. Ether Gust doesn't seem as good because they're discarding the Arclight Phoenix's Witness Protection. I don't know if is Witness Protection a card that I want against Ledger Shredder? Maybe. Maybe I should test it. It just feels like turning their 1/3 flyer into a 1/1. Their 2-drop into a 1/1. It's not that good for me. Dive down is fine. Man, Shacklegeist really looked good that game. I think Brazen Borrower is rough. Feels slow. Like, I might just rather have... They're going to bring in, like, all their cheap burn spells if they have those in the sideboard, so I feel like I want those 3. And then Phantom, again, just doesn't feel good enough. I'm just going to try that, and we'll see how it works out. Going to try to keep their Ledger Shredders off the board. Give them a mulligan because we only have 1 land. Keep this, stitch the land, hope for the best. Not super optimistic here, but this is better than my other options. And that could be good if they don't play a turn 2 Ledger Shredder. Ledger Shredder is really good, though. Yep. Fire Impulse makes sense. We shall Shacklegeist. Oh, they don't kill it. Nice. Lightning Axe, sure. Wanderer. Shacklegeist. Keep our Shacklegeist alive. They only have 2 cards in hand. So if we can land this Curious Obsession before they kill our Shacklegeist. Oh no, don't hit a burn spell. They're probably gonna hit a burn spell. Dang it. Oh. Man. Stormcarved Coast. Okay, so they hit a land. Opt. Sure. Oh, they're bringing back the Phoenix. Oh, right. Duh. Probably gonna try to do that. Oh, they don't have another spell. Okay, they definitely would have killed it if they had it. So I'm not even gonna bother playing around a kill spell, because if they had it, they would have used it. I could have held up double Geistlight Snare. The Mausoleum Wanderer can also kind of be a functional removal for a counterspell, I mean. That's a big draw. We'll play the Spirit. This is where I hope. Oh, no. Jeez. What do I do here? Oh, man. See, I have 2 counter spells, but I would have to use both to counter this. I'm fairly certain they just drew that and that they didn't have a burn spell before. See, that's a good draw. Extra point of damage can be relevant. I could have just seen if I drew a counter spell, though. Dive down. Feeling okay about the decision to pump it. Because they are at 7. Okay, so they're just trying to fuel for their treasure cruise. Yeah, this is best, I think. And if I draw a land, I can even hold up dive down again. On 2 things. Big. Nice draw. Next turn, I can make this a 4/4. Okay. It's rough because now I'm casting a second spell. Oh, they discarded a land. That's huge, actually. Okay, now it works out. Now they have to... chump block. Can I even do Mystical Dispute? Boom! Got the match win. I mean, starting 3-1 in a league when haven't played this format feels great, honestly. The deck feels good. I feel like I've been making the right decisions. Man, knowing more about their cards. I mean, Ledger Shredder just seems really good. Their card seems sweet. Maybe Ledger Shredder would be good in this deck. Hard to say. You never know. I mean, probably wouldn't be as good because we don't really cast a ton of spells in a turn reliably. No, we're not like chaining through with opts and stuff. But yeah, locking in a 4-1 would be pretty good here. Thanks, Clown. I feel like practicing is like just playing the games, getting the reps in is one of the best ways to just figure out sideboarding too. It's pretty effective because you can start figuring out which cards are good, which cards are bad. When you're playing the games, you're like, oh, every time I draw this card is pretty good. I feel like siding out Supreme Phantom is pretty reasonable there, but it could also be because I mean it also just gets owned by the Anger the Gods plan because Supreme Phantom dies to Anger the Gods. Yeah, Shredder's a very good card. It was really interesting there because if they had drawn and discarded 2 spells in a row with their Ledger Shredder Connives, it would have been a 3-5, which would have then been able to block my 4-4, but because they had a land on one of them, it was like huge for me. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, this is actually a keepable hand, even though we don't have the Curious Obsession. I think, at least. Normally, I try to keep mostly hands that have Curious Obsessions in them. But this one feels like it's good enough. Maybe we're against blue-red again. Yep, looks like the blue-red aggro variant. Or mono-red. Ah, mono-red has historically been a tough matchup for this style of deck. Especially because a lot of them have like Goblin Chain Whirler, which just decimates me. Ah! Oh dear. Oh dearie dearie me. Land. No. No. I needed a land. If I drawn a land, I think I was actually potentially still okay. We are in trouble. Oh, we got trouble. Right here in River City. This is definitely a bad matchup. Mono red is just a deck that almost always decimates mono blue. Because I don't have any answer to their burn or things like that. There's a land. Phantom. Yep. Mono red's probably a good deck to learn how to play too. This is gonna be a tough one though. It's okay. Going 3-2, still a positive record. I take 2, 4, 7. Land. Yes. So Chandra down. But like their top decks are still devastating against me. I have a counter spell. If I draw Curious Obsession and start chaining into counter spells and stuff, I could potentially be okay. They might also go for the Bugbear kill here, which would be really good for me. Kill this, kill this. Bounce the Swift Spear. Could bounce the token and go to 1. But then I die to like so many more things. Yeah, okay. Wow. This actually is kind of the exact card we needed to potentially stabilize. Okay, I have to hold up Lofty Denial, I think. No, 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 no. We were so close. Pourquoi? No, no, no. We don't have enough mana. Sad day. Oh, no. If they'd had like a different spell, I mean, yeah, going to 2 life is obviously rough. Okay. Okay. We would like... We're going to be on the play, so we need a Curious Obsession start, and that makes Dive Down really good, because they have burn spells. Witness Protection doesn't do much. Ether Gust doesn't do much. It's probably better than something like Lofty Denial. Because we can't always counter stuff with Lofty. And we need to be able to race them. I don't think Brazen Borrower does much. It's just too slow. Let's try it like this. Okay. Here's what we've got. Let's take them down. Go, go, go. Attack. Lead with the Spirit. Because that way, next time we can play Wanderer. Sure. Probably smart of them not to wait in case they do have like Dive Down. Ah! I got stomped. Bone Crusher Giant's a great card. Mono red looks sweet. I wonder if they have Light Up the Stage. We shall hope for the best. Yeah, I'll just hold up Ether Gust. Stop a Chandra or something. Game log. They put it on top. Okay. Hit them for 8. And then I have a tap on their Bone Crusher Giant still.
If they only have one blocker, I can do the phase save and attack and then tap trick.
It's 4 damage from this or 4 damage from this, so I might as well tap their land. Being on the draw is going to make this so much harder. Dang. So I have, yeah. Yeah, I think they realized that I could just tap something. Okay, so on the draw. This is obviously not going to work. Honestly, I think I just keep the same setup and just hope for the best. Witness protection doesn't seem that good. This is going to be a tough one. This is always a hard matchup, even in the standard days when these decks were going at it. This is a keepable hand, though. There's a lot of creatures for blocking purposes. I want to play the Mausoleum Wanderer. My natural instinct was to play the Spirit, but I can like pump the Spirit once my hand is empty. And if I play the Wanderer, I can hit them for 3, maybe turn the clock onto them. Never mind, that is very doubtful. Dive Down could actually be a key draw. Because I can hold up Dive Down here, and then next turn I can play Phantom and hold up Dive Down if they don't kill this thing. If they try to kill this, I might just Dive Down, so I get a nice free block in almost. Otherwise, I can Spectral Sailor. They're going after my Ascended Spirit is kind of good for me, honestly. Let's turn the pressure onto them a little bit. Can't really block anyway. Next turn we can maybe play, like, pump it up and play Spectral Sailor or Shacklegeist, or getting Shacklegeist into play so we can tap down any big creatures they play is nice. They only have 3 cards in hand. Wanderer can kind of trade for 1. If they don't have 2 spells, which they probably don't, because they would have, I believe, probably tried to use 1 before combat to just buff their guys up and hurt me a lot more. If they had 2 instant speed burn spells, so they probably don't have a 1-mana burn spell. And Mausoleum Wanderer countering something could be really nice. Gosh, we could actually win this game. We could win this thing. We can do it. Yep. We'll take it. Yeah, we could have blocked and saved ourselves 2 points of damage, maybe. I honestly think I should have blocked with the Phantom, because there's no way they have a 1-mana burn spell, because they would have burned the Wanderer. Maybe they did have it. Oh, I was hoping to draw a land there so I could start activating this thing. Oh man, if I had been able to hold up my counter spell for that. Oh, the land would have been so nice. But I guess then I wouldn't have had the counter spell in the first place. Oh. No! Ah, we're doomed. They have Skewer and Kumano. I can counter this, or I can use my Faith thing to block one of them and chump the other one. I shall go to 1. Yeah, we're dead. Dang it. Ah! Well, 3 and 2. Got back our entry fee, got a qualifier point, and a treasure chest, so small profit on the day in terms of Magic Online ticks. Pretty cool stuff. Just going through the deck again, I felt like all the cards were pretty good. We did feel like we ran a little bit light on lands sometimes, but 22 still seems like a good spot. We kind of got to see all the cards. Brazen Borrower felt like a little bit rough. Maybe it's better in matchups where they play some expensive cards, but it could just be that there are not that many of those matchups. Witness Protection, never felt like we needed to bring that in. Again, not sure what matchup it was for, though. We brought everything else in, though. And overall, the cards felt great. The Lofty Denials were like potentially pretty solid. We drew them a couple times. Key spots, rattle chains was good. I liked the deck a lot. If you did enjoy this video, remember to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe for more content, and comment below with your questions, thoughts, and feedback. And to let me know you made it all the way to the end, leave hashtag monoblue great start, because this is the deck we play. I guess you don't need to believe, just say hashtag great start, because this was the first deck I'm playing for Pioneer on the channel ever, and I think we did pretty well, and I was happy with how things went. You can support my content on Patreon, patreon.com/NicolaiBolas, linked in the description. You can find the Discord server and all of my other stuff in the description down below as well. That's going to do it for this this Pioneer video, though. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time.